I'm State Senator John McCoy from the 38th Legislative District, which is Tulalip, Marysville, Everett. The process on how a bill passes is the same process. Well, is where the difference comes in is the nuances of getting the bill to pass. On the House side, you form caucuses or birds of the same feather. You get around those folks that you have like minds, and so you start building those caucuses and to get your bill passed. Well, on the Senate side, everybody's more of a free agent, so that you're primarily operating on your own. So what you have to do is build relationships. So I'm begun the process of rehoning my personal skills, because I need to interact with each member on an individual basis. So I've begun that process. Granted, I've started with folks that I'd already had a previous relationship in the House. Because on the Democratic side, all but 5 members I served with in the House. So it wasn't hard building those relationships. But now I need to move over to the Republican side, which I've begun, to building relationships. Now, our philosophical beliefs, yes, are different. But there's always an issue that we can come to an agreement on. And that's what it's all about. You know, we can't alienate any one person, whether they're in your party or the other party. You can't do that because you may need their vote on the next bill. So if you alienate someone, then you're pretty sure that you're going to always get a no vote. So on the Senate side, you have to maintain those relationships, at least on a congenial level, so that you can work the issues and to get to common ground to be able to pass legislation. Well, right now, the House has a bill that they've moved out. Here in the Senate, we had competing bills. One bill was not heard. That was 6262. And then the bill that the chairman heard is primarily a study bill. Not only is there studying in the United States, but he also wants to create an international panel because of the border situation. So that's understandable, but you know, I feel we should take care of home first before we try to take on the international, because the international one is more about the maritime, the tankers. So we pretty much have that in good shape. Yes, we need to improve it. Personally, I think we need to bring in Grace Harbor because we got tankers going in there, and we should have some things there to take care of that. But the bill that was heard the other day, not only all these studies, but it did take $10 million out of the cleanup fund, MOTCA as we call it, the cleanup fund. And these studies, well, the bill calls for forward deployment of things to help clean up if there was an issue that happened. Well, and that's $10 million, and taking it out of the cleanup fund, in my opinion, is not the appropriate place, because we have cleanup projects that we have to get done, and there's not enough money in that fund to do the cleanup we already have to do. So to take 10 million out of that only stresses the account more. So it needs to come out of another account. So those are the issues. 6262 was heavy on maritime. It did naturally the Salish Sea, Puget Sound, Grays Harbor, and the Columbia River. The Columbia River, I think we need to handle that in a different way because those channels are so narrow. And so having a response tug escorting that creates some issues by themselves. And so I think we should handle that one separately by itself. But I think we can pick up the Salish Sea and Grays Harbor together to work that issue, because in order to do Columbia River, we have to work with Oregon. And then, well, up in the northern Salish Sea, we also have to work with Canada, British Columbia, to sort out those issues. So, so that's what we're doing right now. We're going through that. Today's the last day. If none of the two oil bills get out today, then they're, in essence, they're technically still alive, but procedurally, they're dead. As everybody knows, yes, they may procedurally dead, but they could come back alive. So we have to be mindful of what's going on around us. And like I said earlier, there is a bill coming over from the House, which I feel I can support. There might be an adjustment or two, but the overall policy in that bill, I'm pretty much in agreement with. I need to continue to hear from you on the various issues that are playing out. And so please, please, still contact me on your issues, stay involved, and work with me. Contact my LA, 360-786-7674, or you can email john.mccoy@leg.wa.gov.